And joining me now is Jonathan Corpina. He's the Senior Managing Partner at Meridian Equity Partners. So great to have you on the show.
Allison, good morning.
So let's talk about what the markets are doing. The major averages were basically flat yesterday. Investors waiting for earnings. What sort of activity do you anticipate that we're going to see in today's session?
Right, we continue to see a lot of volatility, and rightfully so. We're seeing the shift from tech into small cap, and even though we have had a couple of good days in tech, we're going to continue to see that rotation. We're going to continue to look at economic data this week. There are no Fed speakers this week because we have the Fed coming out with their minutes next week. We've got President speaking tonight. We're going to get some more information coming out of Washington. A lot of uncertainty there. So put that all together here. There is a lot of uncertainty in the short term and the long term that's going to have an impact on this market.
Okay, so let's talk about what's going to happen over the next few weeks across all sectors. What are you going to be paying close attention to, and what do you think investors are pricing in?
I think we can't price in any of the election just yet, so I think that's off the table. From the Fed standpoint, we continue to go back and forth of when is the Fed going to cut rates, how are they going to cut rates, what's the verbiage going to be. I think July is going to be off the table, so I think all pricing is going to be for September, so that punts that conversation down the road. As we continue through earnings season, earnings have been somewhat okay. It's more of the unknown outlook moving forward that's adding pressure on this market. So I think you're going to look at economic data, you're going to look at earnings. We'll see what kind of verbiage comes out of the Fed next week. That's what investors should be focusing on at this point.
Okay, so let's talk about what's going on politics-wise and how that impacts the markets. We've got Biden dropping out of the race in 2024. How much do you think this is changing investor strategy, if at all? And what are investors pricing in as we get closer to the election?
I think from last week to this week, it does change investment strategies, right? We had two candidates last week. We've got a new candidate this week, which is still uncertain in how that's going to play out. The vice president selection is going to be very important in that. I think we've got a very short window that leads to the Democratic convention, but a lot of information is going to come out in between now and mid-August. I think investors are just holding back and waiting to see how that's going to play out. I don't think investors are selling out of the market and taking money off the table. I think they're just waiting for more information to make some more investment decisions.
Okay, so we've talked about the Fed, we've talked about politics. What do you believe is the sort of under-the-radar story that we should be paying attention to for the rest of this summer?
I think there's two things there. We still have the Middle East crisis that's going on there, and that has been a major headline that has gotten quiet. And then also, every once in a while, we get a headline about China and Taiwan. I think that is an underlying story that's going to continue to escalate little by little. That pulls U.S. forces into that area there, which would have an overall negative sentiment to our market. So I think from a geopolitical side, those are the two headlines that we should keep our eyes on.
Jonathan Corpina, always love getting your analysis. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Allison. Have a great day.